Hello.
Hey,
What's your name?
May Rita.
Hello, May Rita. Where did you grow up and where do you live now?
I grew up in Tromsø. It's a city in the north of Norway. And now I live at Nøsen Yoga and Mountain Lodge in the middle of Norway.
And what's been the predominant practice of your life, whether it be yoga, meditation or something else?
I started practicing 6-7 years ago. And the cause of that was that I was in a rehab center, and I've been having a serious drug addiction all my life since I was 14. And I was in this rehab center and was moving out from there and totally anxiety. And I texted a friend and telling her about my addiction and if she could help me, because I knew she was starting with some healing practice. And then she took me in for a session, and she told me to go to Alexander Medin and to Beckne Ring and practice yoga there. And that was the only way that will help me to succeed in my life.
And this was 6 years ago?
6 or 7 years ago, yeah. 6, yeah.
And so if we were to look at like what led up to 6 years ago, how would you say the process of moving into the addiction, that part of your life happened?
How I went into addiction?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's so complicated to pinpoint an answer for that. But I guess I was like searching for something. I was very active and very social and very impulsive, and yeah. So I guess it's like maybe something from my personality, or I don't know. I can't blame anyone for it, no, or like
So,
my parents or how my...
Sure, so you feel it's just a process of just starting using?
Yeah.
And then does it become a spiral?
It becomes a spiral, and you kind of feel home in that environment, and yeah. And then the drugs start to take over your whole system, your cells, your neurons, your everything.
And what does that feel like?
Yeah, in the end, it's like you kind of make yourself a role or an identity to be there. So it kind of, I think for me it was like I just numbed myself. I didn't have any. I have 3 children and a granddaughter, so I didn't have any. In the end, I didn't have any contact with them, and so to clean up, it was not an easy task, because when I took drugs away, and who am I? How can I just jump into the motherhood again? It's not possible.
If you don't mind me asking, how long were you using for?
Heroin, 10 years, 10 last year. And before that it was more amphetamines, and yeah.
And were your children young when you began?
Yeah, they were. I was clean when I was pregnant, and when the first year, maybe the first 2-3 years, and then I started using again. So I had periods where thing was nice and not that crazy, but yeah, you know.
And how is it being like a user and at the same time being a mother?
It's a roller coaster. It's a double life. It's yeah, you get into so many crazy situations, and yeah, it's not no, I don't know what to say. it's not good to think back about it. It pops up in my memory storage, and yeah, I feel really ashamed of what's been going on. Yeah.
And so, what was the point that led you to change?
I think it was like the really longing to be there for them, to fulfill my task of mothering, and to that I knew I could do better than this, than just like going from one corner to next and find the drugs, sell the drugs, get the money for. Yeah, it was like this spiral. And to sit with the needles like mostly of the day, to find a way into it. Yeah, I somehow knew I could do better.
And so, was there a catalyst? Was there a moment when you said enough?
I think I went to this healer, and I had so much anxiety, and I was like, to get out of the door was really hard for me. And I had moved back to Oslo, but she, like, the message I got from her was like, it was like a momentum of, okay, I go to these classes. So then I went to yoga classes with Ring, who is like a program for drug addiction. And I immediately felt something like the teacher that started to teach had just been educated from Alex Medin, and they had their own stories of drug addiction or crime. So it was like this connection immediately. And I was stumbling around on this yoga mat and no balance and nothing. And but after the first class, in the first shavasana, it was like, oh my God, this is it. And I knew that here I have this tool that I can have for myself. It was like this, oh, it's possible to fix this. And I could, like, after the first week, I was able to sleep all night. I was able to calm some of the dramas down, and yeah.
Were you using right up to the point where you met the healer, and then went to the yoga class?
Yeah, I was medicated on ADHD medication of amphetamine. So yeah, I was kind of, I will say I was not totally.
And yet in that shavasana, something else spoke to you.
Yeah.
And was it then that it was the way that you could then move into this next phase of letting go of the drugs?
Yeah.
And how quickly then were you able to just go clean?
Yeah, 1.5 years. Yeah.
So it was still a process.
Yeah. And I was with Back in the Ring. We went for pilgrimage, and I really felt strong again, and that I could. And then I had a really bad relapse, and it was really bad. But I could, like, feel it. Like, before, when I had relapses, it had to go like 5-10 years before I understood that this is not what I'm supposed to do. But this time it took me only 2-3 months to ask for help. And then I was able to come here to Nøsen. So I came up here with 40 plastic bags and like with this image of and then I could really crack my defense, and after 14 days I stopped all medication, all drugs, all because then I was also able to start a little bit practice every day.
And so what did that consistent practice every day give you when you fell away with the drugs, when you said that's enough?
Yeah, it was like the show up. I remember I was tipsed about Taylor Hunt. He's a yoga teacher from the States. And he had this Instagram account that was really speaking to me, like, get your ass to the class and you have to do the work. And of course, Alex also, it's about the showing up and to show up for yourself, but also for your friends around you, and to start to train that pattern. And that's still,
It still goes on, right?
It still goes on, yeah. And then we went to India, to a yoga gurukul who Alex knows, the teacher. And we were with a group with Becknering. And we really went in depth with Bhagavad Gita. And we were all sitting there crying, like, what's the root cause of your suffering, was like the... And I think after that India trip, I really understood something about karma yoga and how to, shall I like dive into my suffering, or shall I find something to get like this opposite? Can I,
dive into the possibility of life.
Yes, exactly. And of course, my root cause of my suffering was my kids. And I remember I have to just, and I was crying, and I was like, I just have to start live and act as they are around me. Like, I have to like just start to be the person who has the kids around in every moment of the day.
And so how did that transpire, the relationship back with your children?
Yeah, it's like magical things happen, and my daughter was like, she's 28 now, and she was, "Hey, Mom, I tried to tell you to start with yoga many years." And she comes to visit me, and my oldest son, he came here. He was with Alex in a Mysore class, and he was like, "Oh, this was a good exercise." And then I asked him like 3 months later, "Oh, what did you really think about the yoga?" "Oh, I do yoga every morning. I'm not the same person without doing the practice in the morning." I was like, okay, he's of those guys. So somehow we can do the yoga class when they come visit. We can do a yoga class together, and the healing in that, without you doing something, we are not talking, because that's all the words when you, how to explain to my kids, and to, we can't go down there. We just have to heal somehow. I don't know how to explain this, but it's kind of, my granddaughter, she's coming to visit me, and when she has holidays, she just wants to go up here to Nøsen and to spend time together. And
does it feel precious now? Does it feel precious now?
Yes, it really feels precious. And I don't take it for granted that it's there.
And how are your children with you?
They are nice. They are. My oldest son, he lives in Tromsø. He works there in a satellite company, and I was going to visit him last autumn. And 2 days before I was going, I just cracked down with anxiety attack, and my head was spinning. That, oh my God, he don't want me to come. He don't love me. He don't care. And then I went to visit him, and I stayed there, and he was so caring, and he was like, I was still working on my computer, and he was, Mama, come on, now you have to relax a little, and you have holidays. And he had bought gifts for me, and I got a gift every morning, and they are proud of me, but I still can't really take that in because, there is still some shame going on.
Of course.
So I say this yoga journey is not like a quick fix for anything. It's not that things go away, just magically, poof, disappears, but it is a fix and it is a way. It's like, for me, it's like that I can sit, I can tell about it. I can own this feeling. I can own this history, and I can,
And how are you now?
I'm quite okay. I have, my practice these days are like writing morning pages. So I've done that for like two years now, and that really helps me to look into what's going on. Little asana practice. Then I started study Sanskrit. That's really hard. Some little chanting. And then it's like the whole story about back in the ring and Nøsen, who I really feel like connected to, and I feel it's like the purpose of life, to help others and or not to help because everyone has to help themselves, but to kind of create the space so we can grow together, kind of,
So if there's one thing you could share with people about what you've learned about yourself through practice, what would it be?
Oh. I'm just, what I've learned. I learned that this life and this human is like a mystery. I was like dead. I died so many times, and I was woken up, and I had like decided, if I'm not gonna change, I'm just gonna die. It's okay to die. And then it's changed. So it's possible. It's the possibility to change. To dive into the vulnerability and to own the story. And to take part of life. instead of blaming the life, to celebrate the life.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.